In this lesson, we're going to look at working with arrays. And arrays have these pre-built functions or methods, and we're going to talk about functions and methods as we progress through the course. But they've got these pre-built functionality units like join, push, and sort that allow us to have some out-of-the-box functionality with arrays. And one of them, the first one we're going to look at, is going to be how to add items into our arrays. The last lesson we showed you how we can set up different types of arrays. So now we're going to look at how we can add an item to that array. So the first array that I'm going to add an item to, and of course with arrays, the real reason we're using arrays is because we can contain multiple values. So we've got this my array A, and if I want to add an item at the end of the array, let's say I want it to add 5 or something like that, what we do is we push the value, and this just simply places at the end of the array. So now when I go and if I open up and write out my array A, we're going to see within our console we have an additional value there. And now of course we can call to that value and pull that value out, because this is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So all we'd have to do is indicate to output the my array A4, and we could get that value for there. So I did say that there is a difference between when we're declaring these arrays. So I'm going to add in, and I'm going to push this value into my array C. And just to quickly let you know that there will be no difference if I do it my array B if I push an item, but the difference is here when I push an item to my array C. Because remember again, we've already declared that 5 is the number of reserved spots. So when we push an item to the end of array C, then we're actually going to place it in slot number 6, which is going to be a value of 5 if we want to retrieve it. So just show you how this works out. So we see that it's got this 5, the colon 5, because this is going to be the index value in order to retrieve this value of 5. Because we've essentially started the array out at 5, so there's 5 blank reserved spots, and when we add something to the end of that, then it's simply placing it within the last slot. And now we're just outputting that array, and even though they're blank, we don't see them within the console log, they're still there. So let's take a look at and see what we can do further with arrays. So I'm going to open up the editor again, and I'm going to console log out a bunch of information, because this is probably the most efficient way that we can actually see what's happening behind the scenes here within JavaScript. So the first one that I want to output is my array A. And we already have a pre-built way to find out how many items are within there. So we already can find out the length simply by typing in length. And I'm going to do my array C and find out the length of my array C. So let's take a look and see how this plays out within our console. So we see that this one has 5 items, which it does, and this one has 6, because again, remember that we reserved those 5 empty spots. We can also do some comparisons of the different types of arrays. So we can see that within console, so we can check to see if the different types of arrays are the same by typing in type of and my array A, and we can see if it's actually equal to type of my array C. So let's see if they actually turn out to be the same type of array. So now let's go out and refresh it, and we get a Boolean value being returned of true. So that just simply means that the arrays essentially are the same. The JavaScript sees them as the same type of arrays, even though that we had declared them differently, and by definition one was implicit and one literal array and one was a runtime array. We still see them, and we can still work with them within that same fashion. So knowing that, we don't need to really continue with having all these comparisons between these different types of arrays, and we're going to just move to working off of that first myArrayA for the next section of the lessons, where we look deeper into all the different really cool things that we can do with JavaScript arrays. So we're going to look at that in the upcoming lessons in more detail.